This video is sponsored by Factor, a fantastic meal service that delivers high quality, fresh, and delicious meals directly to your door. I have used Factor in the past multiple times, actually. I particularly enjoy it because they list out all the specific macronutrients on it, so I know exactly how many not only calories, but also protein, carbs, and fats I am eating. The food is also way better than most other services I have tried. I find it actually has a pretty decent amount of flavor put into it, and considering the time I save without having to cook these certain meals, and I can easily grab, go, quick 2-minute microwave, it's pretty excellent for a sustainability and efficiency standpoint. I personally think that Factor is the best meal service option on the market currently, and if you'd like to check it out as well, go ahead and go down in the description and go to factor75.com and use code Bricky50 for 50% off your first order. Thank you very much for sponsoring this video, Factor. And let's talk about aliens. Hello, everybody. My name is Bricky, currently providing my body as a service for more teeth gains. Anything that can speed this up. Grind for me, and I shall grind for thee. Many of you know that I am a COD Zombies aficionado, something I grew up with and still enjoy to this day. I've made a few videos in the past regarding Cold War and the atrocity that was Vanguard, but intermingle between all of those great zombie titles sat the weird kid in the back. COD Ghost Special Mode Extinction. Now, I've discussed Ghost in the past. We made a whole video about its perk system that I thoroughly love, but maintain my opinion that it's not really one of my favorites. Its multiplayer has a lot of problems outside of its perk system, and I did not find the campaign to be compelling at all. But the Extinction mode, I always had a soft spot for that. It was a new style for COD. Zombies and the occasional Spec Ops game mode where it's tried and true. So this was going for a co-op horde mode, but with a twist. Aliens. Cryptids, in fact. Aliens that have existed long before the dinosaurs, and they are now springing up from all sorts of places, ready to wreak havoc on humanity. Launching with only one map, Point of Contact, your job is to destroy the alien hives, arm a nuke, and leg it. I'll be spending a lot of time on this particular map, Point of Contact, because I imagine it's what a lot of you are familiar with. See, because Ghost came out at a bizarre time in the Call of Duty cycle. It was Infinity Ward's next game after completing the Modern Warfare trilogy, and came hot off the heels of Black Ops 2, which is widely regarded as a top 3 COD of all time, if not your #1. So there was anticipation in what they were going to do next, what this new IP was going to be. When it was released, it was met with reviews that were not stellar. People were getting tired of the modern time frame formula of Call of Duty, and at this point was being challenged for being too samey. Black Ops 2 actually did a pretty good job at fixing that by throwing you into a mild future setting, but now sending us back to mostly modern times did not help its initial reception. This also came during a major swap between the Xbox 360 and Xbox One. Ghost was the very first Xbox One COD game, and many people weren't up for swapping consoles just for that. Also, because the 360 version of Ghost wasn't much better looking or playing than Black Ops 2, which they could just play anyway. And ironically, Black Ops 2 being so good was an even larger slight against it, because Ghost came out in early November, and the final Zombies pack for Black Ops 2 was in late August. And there was just no way some of us were done grinding Mob of the Dead, Buried, and I don't know, Origins just to hop onto this new alien game mode on a brand new console not all of us had. So the deck was stacked against it, to say the least, which is why many of you will only ever know this first map. I didn't actually know of any maps past the first DLC in the snow one either, but I remembered the game fondly. So I wanted to turn back time to 2013, a decade ago, when Ghost came out, and see about this whole cryptid game mode. What differentiates Extinction from Zombies is that you have a clear set goal, and that goal is segmented by destroying various alien hives, which in turn also segments between other hives. At the start, you have a giant laser drill that you need to carry to a hive in order to kill it. Placing the drill here begins a timer in which aliens will attempt to stop you by either killing you or damaging the drill. And there are normally only 2 ways to lose: dying or having your drill destroyed. Drill health is important to maintain, because when it goes to 0, it doesn't completely stop working until it's repaired. It is a 100% destroyed, you fail the mission fail state. So you fend off the aliens until the drill completes and move on to the next hive. You'll do a set number of hives before there is some sort of barrier section to the next one. In point of contact, that is having a helicopter gun down a barrier hive while you fend off enemies trying to shoot it down. You rinse and repeat this a few times, arm the nuke, and you leg it back to the starting zone and you win the game. When playing solo, point of contact took about 40 to 50 minutes, give or take. So not an insignificant amount of time, but nothing that GTFO hits you with. Where Extinction tends to differ from the various zombie titles, however, is its character building both out of game and in game, as well as its larger emphasis on teamwork and team play. You probably noticed the D-pad side of my screen. Thanks. That's the first time anyone has noticed my D. Now, if you examine my D extremely closely, you'll see that there are 4 price points associated with my D, ranging in directions, power, and speed, not to mention utility. Before we start, you need to rearrange my D to your liking. But first, we need to set the mood. There are 4 different classes that you can pick up from that'll determine how our session is going to go. You have Weapon Specialist, Tank, Engineer, and Medic. And after that, you get to choose a toy to play with. They aren't very long, but we'll make do. And then you can customize all parts of my D. One brings firepower, another utility, and third, an AI partner, always saucy. And finally, something that you use yourself. A bit more hands-on, if you would. I can't keep this up. I'm sorry. It's getting too hard. I'm getting sore. The first option you have is ammo. Ammo is either regular ammo or specialized ammo like stun, incendiary, explosive, and armor piercing. Secondly, on the left is the equalizer device. This is a player-utilized device that does a ton of damage to the cryptids. It's a minigun turret, a grenade turret, a riot shield, a grenade launcher, or a death machine gun. Third is your team support items. These are things you throw down that benefit your whole team in multiple ways. Explosives, feral instincts, armor, boosters, or random supplies. And finally, we have your strike package. These are automated helpers meant to work alongside you and have your back. IMS, mortars, Trinity rockets, sentry guns, and the Vulture. But each of these, as you can tell on the screen, have ranks. Those are upgraded through the use of skill points as well as your class ability and pistol. When you play Extinction, every single hive you destroy gives you a skill point. However, each hive has a challenge associated with it. These challenges range from maintaining weapon accuracy to killing certain cryptids in an order to spending lots of money, spending no money, melee kills, kills while prone, kills with traps, and so on. And if you complete this challenge, you gain an additional skill point. So if you do the challenges each time, you are just about doubling your skill points for the game. I cannot stress enough how paramount doing the challenges are. This is not saying you can't do the mission while screwing up a few of them, but you want to screw up as few as possible because skill points drastically increase the power of your abilities. Because the main thing Ghost balances its game with is opportunity cost. Every point you spend on one thing is counterbalanced by you not spending it on the other thing. For example, I used to play the tank class a ton, and that gives you increased health and melee damage. The melee damage was extremely handy in the early game to allow me to save ammo and just complete challenges shanking everybody. In particular, a gun accuracy one will be just shooting a cryptid once and then melee for the rest of the hive, maintaining a high percentage accuracy the whole time. But by doing this, I wasn't spending any points on armor or ammo. So when times were tough, replenishing was rather expensive. Not to mention the importance of some of the later upgrades. Upgrading your pistol might seem silly at first. Why would you choose extra range and a bigger magazine over better armor, ammo, or a sentry gun? Well, it's because the second to last upgrade for the pistol lets you carry 2 primary weapons, which is enormous for flexibility, ammo economy, and damage. Armor allows you to tank hits instead of taking health damage, and this is how much level 1 armor gives you. And this is max armor. Boy, the difference is insane. Armor piercing ammo at level 1 gives you 30% of your ammo capacity. At level 5, it gives you 70. You want your flying little vulture drone to be wimpy, or do you want it to target faster, last longer, and fire incendiary rockets, making it hefty? Some of the other classes can even go farther with it too. Weapon Specialist? How's faster reloading sound? How's 50% damage increase sound? Medic? How about team-wide health regeneration? Engineer? You increase that wallet size, baby. We're bringing in fat stacks. Now, in fairness, the build you run when you're playing solo is pretty darn streamlined because when it's just you, the game can get shockingly hard. Originally, I thought tank was the best way to go, but I found out weapon specialist is by far the better option. Faster ADS, reload speed, and 50% bullet damage just beats out everything else when I can just spam armor to keep myself alive. Which obviously means that when you're solo, you're taking armor every single time, probably armor-piercing ammo as well. The death machine is often my choice, and the vulture is 9 times out of 10 my support. It does push you down a bit of a linear path when you're solo, but when you start playing with the group, all of that goes out the window, and build diversity is a genuine part of it. Because as much as I love zombies more than Extinction in general, actually, but zombies is not played differently solo or co-op for the most part. Whether you're by yourself or with friends, you buy the same perks, you all roll the mystery box. In reality, it's all the exact same, just the order you get things done. Playing solo on Origins and playing Origins with a team is still you guys doing all the same things, just splitting up. Instead of running around for all the staffs with one person, all 4 of you are going for different staffs instead and working on different parts of the map. Like, it's the same thing, it's just spread out. Extinction actually has you diversify your build in a meaningful way, because when you choose armor, for instance, it's obviously to give yourself instant armor in solo play, but it says in the description, deployable armor to all team members. Now, your team needs to walk over and pick it up still, but it still means that only one person really needs to be running armor. So once you've got your armor lackey, the rest can take explosives, boosters, random upgrades, and more. You would think, why would anyone ever just run normal ammo when there are 4 types of ammo? Well, because regular ammo at level 4 replenishes max ammo, refills your magazine, and regenerates 10% of your ammo every 6 seconds to every teammate within 20 feet of the box. Then customization just goes everywhere. Medics revive teammates faster. Having an engineer is great in case the drill has issues. And now, before the game, you're genuinely conversing with your teammates. You're build crafting, you're prepping. There's so much more teamwork at play here than the normal zombies experience. Teamwork you're gonna need, because Extinction is really fucking hard sometimes. The cryptids are not like zombies. They come in a wide variety of types and danger levels. See, in point of contact alone, there are 5 different cryptids, all right? You have your basic scouts. They're fast, small, orange head, easily killed, but, you know, spammed. Then you've got scorpions, the bane of my existence. Scorpions are fast, ranged cryptids that fire poison projectiles at you and leave behind a poisonous field that has you take damage if you stay in it. Now, the thing is, I can deal with all that, right? I can deal with all that. It's the flinch when I get hit that makes me go, eee! You get flinched so insanely hard against these things that hitting them from a range is nearly impossible until they stop firing. They aren't the most powerful of cryptids, but if you ignore them and they get to mass, by God, you're gonna look like Josh Peck as the weatherman. Hunters are pretty infuriating as well. These look like scouts, but they're in their bulking phase with big red colors. These things are not only high damaging, but they also wreck the drill very fast. And they are faster than you are and slow you down when you're hit. So if you have to reload at a bad time, one is just gonna keep whacking you over and over again, turning your ass into hamburger helper by the time he's done. Seekers are little exploding boys that come out of big meteors that land on the map. These are self-explanatory. Shoot them before they get to you, not too bad. And finally, also self-explanatory, is the Rhino is an enormous abomination that is heavily armored, does tons of damage, and is a general pain to kill. Rhinos often, with the weapon specialist and armor-piercing rounds, take upwards of 75% of a light machine gun magazine to kill. They rarely come in numbers, but even one requires your immediate attention. And see, as you destroy hives, these cryptids progressively arrive. In the beginning, it's only scouts, then scorpions arrive at the first barrier hive, then hunters, then seekers, and finally rhinos cap it off at the 3rd stage, before you arm the nuke and you leg it back to the helicopter. But that's just the first map. Point of contact can actually get rather trivial once you know what you're doing. How well can you fare in those other maps? Not well. Extinction is a total of 5 maps. Point of contact, Nightfall, Mayday, Awakening, and Exodus. These maps get significantly harder than Point of Contact and get harder and harder with each installment. Nightfall has you travel to a snow-swept facility. And there's a story here, if I'm gonna be honest. It's not that good. I know there's a story because they talk about it in game, but it's not great. Combination of some dudes being evil, little Sarah Kerrigan lady is controlling the monsters plot, so on and so forth. So for the most part, I'm just gonna let's skip that. It generally feels like it was the last thing they thought of when they put these maps together. Because the first thing they thought about with Nightfall was how to make you hurt. And the game, loads up and look, it's Jimmy. I haven't seen Jimmy in days. I wonder how his golf game has been lately. Wow, still holes in one. What you need to know about Nightfall is that scouts aren't the only enemies you are hit with in the beginning. No, you're getting everything. Not rhinos and the like, but enjoy scouts, scorpions, and hunters all within the first segment. The difficulty ramps like crazy, and you need to prepare yourself for it in every way you can. Because Nightfall has 2 new aliens, the Phantom and the Breeder. And no, what you're thinking, no. The Phantom is a blue hunter type alien that when jumping turns into a wisp of blue smoke, making it hard to track and shoot. It also has significantly more health and significantly more damage. Quite a few hives on Nightfall will have minimum 1 Phantom, and much like the Rhino, keeping it in your sights is paramount or it will shred your jorts. The Breeder, acts as a boss cryptid in this map instead of the barrier hives. It can only be damaged on the light where its little forehead is, and it does immense damage if you get close to it. It also, naturally, spawns out new aliens to fight you and has a really good ranged spine attack that makes you pretty much have to take cover immediately or face instant death. Nightfall is honestly it's quite a challenge if you're unprepared for it. I found out that the classic solo combo, armor piercing, vulture weapon specialist, and LMG is the way I can get through it. But even so, I will still go down, I will struggle, I will have the drill get lower and lower than I like, and honestly just really start to bring me down with it. One nice addition though, it's their first use of the wonder weapon, the Venom X. It's a remote detonated grenade launcher basically, but it has low ammo, and the more ammo to get for it has to be picked up from the ground instead. Interestingly enough though, it doesn't take a place in your weapon slots. So you can actually have 2 primaries, a pistol, and the Venom X all at once. And it should go without saying that this thing does devastating damage, and once grabbed is a handy back pocket item to use against rhinos and the like. The ending, instead of a nuke, is killing the Breeder in a big open area. It has its usual attacks, but after 50% health, it'll start to begin to heal itself by sucking up some funky flowers around the map. Luckily, enough LMG spam and a vulture on my back is a perfect way to deal with it. The third map is Mayday. Mayday takes place on a big ass boat where all your hoes are at. Except you don't have any hoes. I literally sell a shirt about your lack of hoes. Mayday really began to mix up the Extinction formula quite a bit. First, introduce a light crafting element to the game. When you find a blueprint on the ship on top of those big red toolboxes, you can then search through various toolboxes for parts of that blueprint, normally located in doors that you can open with the drill. So a dilemma is created where do you risk taking more damage and spending more ammo and money to search, or do you move on with hives? The answer is, unfortunately, pretty much always search, because the things you can get are really damn good. Sometimes new weapons, blueprints, a key to a locker that holds detect out guns, etc. The blueprint schematics also can have a big impact on the game, as it can be everything from traps, special flares, which are the game's monkey bombs, fancy grenades, or various versions of the Venom X wonder weapon, all of which are worth crafting. As for Mayday's cryptid, we have the Cedar. The Cedar looks like a bigger orange version of the Seeker and fires out damage like a Scorpion. Difference, however, is that it will fire away from you as the player, and where its projectile lands will spawn a flower turret that will shoot you. So you need to always be on guard and prepared to deal with multiple flower turrets and the bastard that makes them. There's also this weird thing where on the top deck of Mayday, they also give you half the amount of money you make. I genuinely don't know why they do this. Making half money, especially when playing solo, hurts like hell, and it makes the final stretch of this map extremely hard to play properly. Now, the finale is to fill a room with chlorine gas to knock out the Sarah Kerrigan wannabe lady. You need to protect 4 pipes in order for this to be done. Now, I had never gotten here before, so after many attempts, solo that is, at getting here, the final pipe broke and I got instant game over. And I spiked my controller and swore off the game for about a week, Smash Brothers style. So I thought, hey, let's try grabbing someone to help me out, Let's load up the search for game match, and then that's actually a little bit more than I expected. So, but how many people are playing Mayday? So I wait. Who knows? They could be mid-game. You don't know what it is, but no games found. No games found. No games found. It looks like I was never going to finish Mayday, and it would be best to move on to the... What's that? Look at him. He's perfect. He's level 31. You can only hit level 31 if you are max prestige. It's the max rank of Extinction you can ever reach. Wait a minute, his ammo. That's Cryptid Slayer ammo. See, after Nightfall, they added this new loadout progression system to the game, right? Teeth. Teeth are found in games by completing missions, killing hundreds of aliens and certain challenges. I often would get between 5 or 6 teeth for completing a whole map on normal mode. But what you spend these teeth on are permanent upgrades that you can toggle for any game, any map. These upgrades range from being strong to downright broken. Most of the upgrades that are costing 5 teeth, so roughly an entire successful map, taking around, let's say 45 minutes to an hour to complete, are mediocre but nice to have. Sentry guns are tankier, certain ammo is slightly more useful, less damage from seeker explosions. The 10 teeth ones get better, faster revive time, armor stuns attackers, 5% damage upgrade to all attacks. Then we get bigger and better stuff, like start the game with an extra skill point for 20 teeth, or $1,000 more for 20 teeth. 25 teeth makes you flinch less. With the release of Mayday, they actually added class specializations. Each of these are 15 teeth, and when double tapping up on the D-pad, activates a special class ability. Weapon specialists don't have to reload and gain damage for him and his allies. Tanks aggro all enemies and become invulnerable. Engineers make the anti-sea bear circle, and medics have an AOA healing and revival ability.
But I'm not done yet!
Awakening map, they gave you even some more ones here, and some weapon attachments and all that jazz, but the big one was the release of the Exodus map, the final map in the game when they just said, fuck it, this is the last map. You want to be busted? Grind for it. 200 teeth. Have the cooldowns of all those class abilities I just mentioned. Start the game with the arc attachment, aka a pack-a-punch thing for your pistol for 125 teeth. For a whopping 1,000 teeth. 1,000 teeth! 5 teeth per game. Let's be generous and say games are 45 minutes each. So 5 teeth per game, 200 games total. 200 games times 45 minutes divided by 60 minutes gives us 150 hours of dedicated grinding. Gives you double class, allowing you to choose 2 classes at the same time, and leveling it up levels up both at once. Can I just say, from my heart, my genuine heart of hearts, can I say how much I love this? I love this. This right here, this is my favorite thing. This creams my jorts. I love when a game creates challenges and achievements that are only achievable by the most dedicated players. Now, it does create a feeling of, well, what do I do now? When you get it. But in order to get everything this mode has to offer, I could see you going 500 hours or more of dedicated Extinction gameplay. This is entirely made for one person, the extremely dedicated fan. It's an exciting prospect to chase, and it gives the game longevity. And as we all know, CBT is an important aspect of gaming. B being big dick factor, and this is absolutely showing off a big ass dick. Cryptid Slayer ammo is what our boy has here. 500 teeth upgrade that combines all the ammo into one special ammo to utilize. There is no way we won't destroy this map, all right? There is no way me and this guy will not demolish. Fine. I'll do it myself.
2 hours later.
If I were a rich man, all day long I'd biddy biddy bum. If I were a wealthy man. Oi!
I won't lie, I don't have a lot to say about Awakening and Exodus, mainly because, well, they're just really damn hard solo, and as you saw, I don't have much help. In Awakening, you get to deal with gargoyles, flying cryptids that shoot guns at you from above, land down and beat your ass too. Plus bombers, because seekers weren't bad enough. They fly at you and dive bomb your ass. And if that wasn't bad enough, you know how stalkers are insanely powerful blue hunters? Now we have insanely powerful blue rhinos. I just can't compete with this on my own. I'm not gamer enough, okay? I don't have the power of game. Maybe if I had all the amazing tooth upgrades, I would have been able to stand a chance on my own, but For the love of all that is holy, I load into Exodus and I see that circle of gargoyles above my head and I get into maybe three zones and I die for good. And then you got the naked squid face dude. He like force chokes you and he can force slam you and he can force dom you and force breed you. And you know, I'm just not into that. You know, we left the breeder on Nightfall. I'm just not into that. The final two maps are just agony to play solo. They're immensely difficult. They add new enemies that are probably not so bad with multiple players, but solo, they're just nightmarish to take out, which might have been their intention. Extinction does team play better than any of the zombie modes do, so this could have been there. If you're going to beat this, you need to do it as a team kind of methodology, or I could just not be good enough. I'm okay with that for the most part. I consider myself a decently above average zombies player, so I just might not be good enough. You said it here. Maybe I'm shit. But even with that all aside, I really like Extinction, man. It's got a lot of talent behind it, and I only wish it could have been slightly more popular or maybe had a bit more funding to put behind it, because you can tell it wasn't given as much attention as it could have. The story is mostly mediocre, the characters are non-existent, the playable characters are just flat, they repeat the same lines over and over and over again because they aren't characters, they're just soldiers, and a lot of the aesthetic stuff isn't great, but the game, it's just such a joy to play. It's a joy to play with friends, and it's great how it's been created for that in particular. It really could have been expanded upon, built upon, added more and more to it. There's a genuine system here that could have been realized, but Ghosts didn't sell well. And I was partly to blame for that. I didn't much like the rest of the game. The next title Infinity Ward made was Infinite Warfare, and that game is still a gem in my mind, but Zombies in Spaceland is just not what I was hoping for. It's not bad, but it's not what I wanted. For now, it lives on through just a handful of individuals. But 10 years later, I think it's on life support. The game can be played on PC, so there's always hope there, but I mean, I enjoyed it while it lasted. Not because it was the best, and not because it was the most inventive or the most astounding, but because it was fun. And that's really all it needed to be. It needed to be fun, and it was fun. It added a lot to the formula, it added a lot to COD. It wasn't something that was completely brand spanking new, but it was new enough and fun enough that I had a blast playing it. But Activision charges full price for their games, even a decade old. So, you know, I'm really just gonna blame them. As I mentioned in my last video, my Patreon is now closed. The memberships on this channel as well are also closed. I do not offer enough back to you to keep them up. If you just seriously want to spend your money on me, you may buy some merchandise at orchidate.com, like the shirt I am wearing now. We all did this as a kid. We all put boobies in the calculator. Don't tell me you didn't. Also, they're in hoodies too. Or stop by my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/Bricky. Someone's in chat said Magic the Gathering. I'm not quite sure that's where comments stored. I've made a goal. If I hit 1 million subscribers, we're gonna do the Mass Effect retrospective. We're gonna make videos on all the Mass Effect games, or, you know, the 4, 1, 2, 3, and Andromeda. Not a single one of those videos is gonna be under 1 hour and 30 minutes, I think. So that's gonna be an interesting time. But here's the road to 1 million subs. Best of luck to me, and thank you all for being around. Toodles.
Come on. Obviously, you're a skater.